Hey everybody, welcome back to Let Her Cook, brought to you by BSCN. I am Jackie Dutton, your hostess with the mostest, and today we are going to get into some general news topics, some like crypto adjacent things, and we're going to look at the prediction markets of some things that might be free money. Nothing is free money. That is not financial advice. As always, with any of these prediction markets, uh, crypto holdings, general price action, anything I say here is not financial advice. I don't have a degree in any of this. I don't think you can get a degree in crypto advice. And if you could, it would be bullshit. So just make sure that you do your own due diligence, that you never risk more than you are willing to lose. And as always, don't take this super seriously. Definitely don't gamble away your 401k. Keep your real TradFi shit. Okay. All right. So we are going to get into the main topic of this past weekend, which is that X, formerly Twitter, announced a new location feature where they correctly pinned, not via VPN, but where you are truly tweeting or posting from, the location of where you are. And they have this new location feature. It exposes apparent fraudster accounts posing mainly as Americans and some Gaza journalists. So there are many popular accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers deleted and scrutinized after being revealed as overseas operations. So we'll scroll down to this image here. So it now shows account based in and the country of origin. So here's this guy. This is a good example of this. His account name is the General, the 1776 General, which is the year of the American Revolution. He claims he is a U.S. patriot, ethnically American. That's not a thing, but okay. And that he is colonial stock of 1620, and he hosts some show called the Ethnic American Broadcast, and it came out that his account is in Turkey. Another account, American Voice, had over 200,000 followers before the update rolled out. They exposed that they were being run from South Asia, and the owners just nuked their account after this information came out. Um, so it's Nikita Beer, who is the head of X right now, says that the new feature should help X users sift out misinformation from their feeds. We already know that this has kind of been a problem. There is a very large account. I think his name is Ian Miles Chang, something like that. Occasionally, I've seen him go back and forth with Candace Owens. And Candace Owens' main gripe with him is that he's not even American. Ian has tweeted, I think, posted a few times. He claimed he voted for Trump at one point. He can't vote. He's not a US citizen. And I believe he's not even based in the US. So I really think this is interesting that all of these people who've been following these almost clickbait style enragement farming, if you will, accounts where they go out of their way to post very far right information, opinions, that kind of thing, that they have really garnered a following off of a complete fucking lie. If you don't live in this country, then you don't really know what's going on. And if you're not even from here, you really don't know what's going on. So I think this feature was probably a really good thing. I think, like Nikita was talking about, it's that it should help X users kind of expose this, just blatant fact of, well, you aren't really who you say you are, so you couldn't possibly know what you claim to know. When you read your content on X, you should be able to verify its authenticity. So this goes a long way in the terms of like fact checking someone, and also just being able to tell who's who, right? I do believe in some level of privacy on the internet. I think you should be able to keep certain things about yourself, close to the vest. But when you build a following, a platform, and you start being paid money on X, for that matter, for your following and your engagement, and you are just generating garbage slop information from a far stance, an extreme stance where you don't actually live there, you don't know anything about this, that obviously that's fraud. That's just straight fraud. You're just lying, and you're lying for money. And we could call actors liars for money, but at least we're aware that these are not people that they're just playing a part. And the internet has this odd way of convincing you that these accounts you're following are these people are real and this is their real life and this is the way things are. No, it's not. The girl who's posting the Instagram videos of her hair all wrapped up in the curlers, and then she claims, "Oh, I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna wake up and these curls are just gonna look amazing." She didn't go to bed to film that video. She started at 8 in the morning and then she ended at 5. That's why her face doesn't look like it's been smashed into a pillow for 8 hours. Stop comparing yourself to people on social media, and this is another example of why you have to be careful. Everything you see on social media should not be taken with a grain of salt. It should be taken with the full shaker. You have to be careful. Most people are full of shit on here. I'm not. I'm going to tell you the truth most of the time, right? But it's all going to be my opinion, and you need to keep that in mind. An opinion is like an asshole. Everybody has one. It doesn't mean we all need to see it or hear it. So, interesting feature, I think a great thing for X to have done to kind of expose some reals from some fakes, and I hope that going forward, people check this out and they look at where the account is actually based in, because obviously this wasn't fair if this guy really built a following on being an American when he's not. All right, so let's go over to some prediction markets, and we're as always, we're going to start with the trending topics. So the football game of the evening, Zelensky, will he meet with Putin before January? The Fed decision in December is also another one. I think the market has really been freaking out about whether or not they will see a rate cut. And I think because of the latest downward trend of what's been going on, that we actually will see one. So I think this bet is likely, but it was not looking good for a minute. But I do think we will actually see a rate cut this year. Will the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits be extended this year? And it looks like the majority feel that that's a yes. All right. So who will win Dancing with the Stars for this season? So this actually ended up being very controversial and a huge issue over this past week, because one of the girls named Whitney Levitt, and she is on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And that is a reality-based show about a bunch of girls who were on what they nicknamed Mom Talk, which was a group of TikTokers, and they are all very young, very pretty mothers, and they all live in Utah. And they kind of gained a following because they would do these dances together, and they're just the regular TikTok dances. But because there's a group of them and they're fairly attractive and they're young and they're moms, I think that gained a lot more attention than just a regular group of friends doing this. So they created Mom Talk. They got a reality show. It's on Hulu, and Whitney Levitt ended up being cast with a fellow Mom Talk person named Jen Affleck, and they were on it together to begin with. I do have to say, for the record, these girls actually can dance decently. This isn't somebody who just like gets on the stage and they don't know what they're doing, or their only skill is being able to do a TikTok dance. Whitney Levitt in particular was hands down, you can't make an argument about this. She was the best one on this show. She has a huge social media following. Not only was she the most improved, I would say, she started at a pretty high skill level to begin with. She was winning tens across the board from all of the judges, and it looked like she was going to make the finale. Now, the only other social media following that also had somebody that could have competed is Alex Earl. Alex Earl is the host of the Hot Mess podcast. She started with some Get Ready With Me makeup videos while she was in college, and then has since she had a podcast under the Call Her Daddy umbrella, and now I think she just does some vlogs and posts on social media, but she has a huge following. The thing about these shows, though, all these reality shows, all of these competitive, vote to win type of things where you think that you are a fan and you are texting and you're saying, "Well, I'm voting for Whitney and I'm texting her name to this number and I'm counting. I hope my vote counts." It doesn't. The producers have picked the winner, and they've probably picked the winner before the show even started. And the winner, I think, absolutely will be Robert Irwin. Robert Irwin is the son of Steve Irwin, the crocodile guy, and Robert Irwin was a baby when his dad died, and I think because Robert's story has this emotional arc element to it, that will be the thing that plays better across, television and social media. I think for the first time this season, there were a lot of younger people watching Dancing with the Stars. To have the mom talk audience, the younger set that's even interested in watching, Alex Earl, she has a younger following. Obviously, the mom talk girls do as well. Um, but Robert Irwin is definitely appeasing that boomer audience that has been watching Dancing with the Stars for apparently 34 seasons. I can't even believe that Dancing with the Stars is still on. It's been 34 seasons. But yeah, I do think that this is a yes bet. I think this is kind of easy money to just take the yes here that Robert Irwin wins. But the biggest snub by far was that Whitney Levitt receiving tens across the board, and I'm sure the fan vote was kicked off after the semifinals. And everybody was really shocked. I think she absolutely, if we were in a deserving world of just a straight dance competition, she deserved to win. But I don't think that's gonna be the case, and I think Robert Irwin will absolutely take this. I think he'll even beat out Alex Earl. So, there's other people on it. I don't even know, I think this is Zac Efron's brother, and this is a testament to the kind of quality that they usually end up with on Dancing with the Stars. Zac Efron's brother. Like, it's not Zac Efron, it's his brother. So for them to have gotten Alex Earl, a couple of the girls from Mom Talk, Hilaria Baldwin, Hillary, if you knew her when she grew up in Boston. Um, but yeah, I just think they picked their winner before the show even started, and sadly, there's just no reward for being the best dancer on this show. I actually think this will kind of piss off the younger set, like the people who were watching because it was Mom Talk, and the people that they liked that were on the show, like Whitney, like Jen Affleck, and I think they're not going to watch the show. So this wasn't the best strategy to appease or to engage the younger crowd that saw just sheer deserving efforts here. But this will appease their boomer audience that's gotten them to 34 seasons. And that's how that goes. I wish I could tell you that the dance world wasn't that fucked up, but it really is. So 34 seasons. I can't even believe that. The other one that's still on that I can't believe is Grey's Anatomy. I see a new episode, a commercial for it once in a while, and I'm like, "That is still on?" I can't believe it's been, like, over 20 years. It's crazy. Alright, so just one of the dumbest bets I could find on here, will Tesla announce a gas or hybrid car this year? Why? W Why? This is like, will Subway sandwiches start selling five-star meals? No. They sell a particular product, and this is what they sell, and that's it. This would require a level of hoop jumping that I'm not even understanding how this is even, like, on here or why someone created this in the first place. and someone has bet, let's see, a grand total of about $1,300 on on whether or not this ends up happening here. Yeah, come on, like, really? Tesla, their whole business model is based on electric cars. They don't make anything else. Their engineers don't do anything else. They're not looking into gas or a hybrid car. Why would they switch now? This is dumb. If you bet yes on this, you hate money. All right. One of my favorite Thanksgiving Day traditions is absolutely, besides making the house smell wonderful, cooking up all of the food. You can catch us on Wednesday. I will be doing a prep kitchen live from 12 p.m. to about 1 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be fun. We'll have the whole family together. But one of my favorite Thanksgiving Day traditions, while everything just bakes and finishes off for the day, is watching the National Dog Show, the Westminster Dog Show. I believe they do that in Westminster, Pennsylvania, and everybody brings their purebred dogs out, and these dogs probably live a much nicer life than most humans. They are so well cared for, trained, and they have, owners that all they do is live to make sure that these dogs, looked, act, walk, and have their fur combed to be exactly just the absolute pinnacle breed of whatever they are. So, this is just a bet on what the announcers will say during the National Dog Show. It looks like the top word or phrase is emotional support. Then there's good boy, clever. I think that one's definitely high up there. Um, let's see. So sorry, I don't know why this didn't sort this well. So specialty is the top word. Puppy is the next one. Service dog, veteran, lap. They will definitely say lap. Social or socialized, loyal. They will absolutely say that. You could really clean up on a lot of yes bets here. I know they seem like kind of the obvious ones, and they're not going to pay out huge. It's not really even like a 2-to-1 thing. Um, but I think you could really clean up with like a lot of this. Let me tell you what they're not going to say. They're not going to say shed or shedding. um, there is no bigger liar than the American Kennel Club in terms of like the shed thing. I have a Greater Swiss Mountain Dog. He's like a short-haired version of a Bernese, and I looked up on the site. I'm like, well, how much did they shed before? Because I was researching the breed to see, what's going on here. And they completely fucking lied about how much that dog would shed. My poor vacuum. He's lovely. I love this dog. But let me tell you, Shark Vacuum should sponsor me because I own like 3 different kinds. He sheds a lot. So they're not gonna be that forthcoming about how much these dogs shed. They do. They all kind of shed, but some of them really do. Yeah, I think this is a super fun one. If you are playing around and you're looking for some Thanksgiving Day bets, this is a really fun one. Another one, we're gonna go over to Polymarket just because I wanted to switch it up a little bit. These are just strictly Thanksgiving Day things. One thing I'm actually surprised not to see on here is anything about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This is another very American tradition going down in New York City. They bring up the big floats, and they have all of the different ones that kind of go down the street. They have marching bands, kids in high school, stuff like that. They all come through, and different performances, and it's a fun Thanksgiving Day tradition in America. And then at the very end, they bring in Santa Claus, and Santa Claus kind of, it's kind of like the beginning of Christmas by Santa Claus ending the Thanksgiving Day parade. And it's a lot of fun, but once or twice, the weather really gets it on, and it can kind of actually fucking like ruin the the floats and the balloons and everything in the air. So that may be more of a weather-based bet, but I am surprised that the mentions and the other things that are not on here talking about the parade as well, because that's another one that's, like, highly publicized, televised. Um, all right, so of the Thanksgiving Day bets on Polymarket, we have, will more people travel on Thanksgiving than last year? What will Trump say at the Thanksgiving turkey pardon? That happens tomorrow. What will Trump say in November? This is just like general. The number of TSA passengers for this particular week, and will more than 3.1 million TSA travelers any day from the 23rd to the 30th. So, um, this seems like it makes sense that it's a pretty like 50-50 bet. I think you really have to consider the economy on this one. And we just kind of ended the government shutdown. I do know that a lot of the people who didn't receive their pay, they've received half of their paycheck so far. And then I think they will receive the next one in a week or two. So, do people feel that they have enough money to travel for this? Uh, mm, maybe, but will more? And I think they have the number listed down here at 3.1 million in any particular day. I don't know. It is Mercury retrograde right now, and that will screw up travel plans. So, maybe you go no on this one. Let's see. Will a turkey audibly gobble during the Thanksgiving turkey pardon on Tuesday? For people who don't know what this is, um, the president every year will pardon a turkey, meaning that that turkey is spared from becoming the turkey on your table. I don't know where the turkey goes. If the turkey goes and lives a nice life on a farm as a free range turkey. If you have actually had to be around a turkey though, they're kind of like aggressive a little bit. At least the ones that are used to being like fed by people and they're kind of like familiar, but it is a giant bird. Like a fucking enormous bird when you see this bird in person. Like the version that ends up in your oven is tiny in comparison to like the huge feathered version that, by the way, can fly, like flap their wings hard enough to get up into a tree. You have not lived until you've experienced a turkey in the wild. It's not like a cuddly thing. It's not something you'd be like, "Oh, it's so cute." That's probably why we feel less bad turning them into the centerpiece of the table. Um, but the president will pardon a turkey. So there's obviously a predictive market about whether or not the turkey will audibly gobble. I think yes. I would go yes on this. Yep. Obviously, will Trump say pardon this week? Yes, he will. Um, but it won't be to pardon anybody in crypto or CZ or something like that. All right. So one of the last few topics here. What will be the best AI at the end of 2025? Currently, the top rank here is Gemini, then Grok, then ChatGPT. Despite the fact that we know a lot more people that use ChatGPT, at least I do, I personally prefer Grok, but Gemini is just kind of like built into Google, and they're built into a search feature where, when you ask Google a question, for instance, what is um, the best AI tool? Let's see if it will give you this assist. So you have this search assist here, and this is powered by Gemini. But the way that they are ranking this, so for this iteration, all markets will resolve to no in the case of a tie. And the way that they are figuring this out is this particular thing, this LM Arena leaderboard. So people here are voting on this. And right now you have Gemini 3 in this particular score. So the score is based on pre-release testing and may shift as community prompts and votes evolve after public launch. This is how many votes. So currently Grok has more votes than Gemini. And then ChatGPT is actually down here getting cooked by less than 1,000 votes than Grok. Um, man, does Google own this site? Is that what happened? Because there's okay, so Google has made different partnerships with Kalshi and with Polymarket. I don't know. I feel like this is another one. Every week, I feel like we stumble upon one of these that's like, are we being rugged? Is this rigged? And I feel like this one, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit in terms of the Gemini ranking here. The last topic I wanted to talk about here is, and we'll go to this bet if I can find it. Okay. This is the general state of things right now. We have how high will Bitcoin get this year? And then we now have how low will Bitcoin get this year? Here's the most likely odds of below 80 grand. Let me show you how close we have come here to this becoming a thing. So this N, if I can like zoom in on this candle, this wicked down on CoinMarketCap here. Let's see. So the low is $80,659.81. I mean, $660 away from making this bet a reality here. Do I think the pain is over? I don't know, dude. This isn't looking good. This looks really, really terrible right now. We have these little moments of kind of like, oh yeah, we're gonna shake this off, and then right back down. And we've had again moments. No. Is this gonna fail? Yeah, am I dooming? I'm dooming a little bit here. This isn't looking good, at least through the end of the year. Now, we have a couple things to consider. We have the rate cut coming up, the December hopeful rate cut. I think that is promising. We are still being waterboarded with positive economic news. I do feel like they're either getting slightly less expensive, or we're just getting used to the fact that it's absolutely bananas when you go to the grocery store. The price of things is still nuts. But I don't feel like things are getting more expensive. But you can let me know in the chat if you feel like things are actually getting worse. I don't. I feel like they've kind of tapered off, but I don't feel like we're seeing like the price of things in 2019, for instance. We haven't seen that at all, and I don't know if we will. Thank you, inflation. But in terms of the price of crypto here, we can, let me check real quick the new. I'm sorry, I can't use this stupid screen. ETH, there we go. All right. Yeah, ETH is another one that you can find these predictive market bets of how high versus how low. Typically these kind of follow a very similar pattern here. Yeah, I'm not looking to doom, but this was a probably a heavy area of resistance here of around 3,300, and the fact that that broke that, yeah, that's not great. The good news is we're kind of back to stablecoin territory for ETH. That's looking great. So somewhere around this 2,500 thing, that's really ETH stablecoin, territory. Here's kind of the top of that range, and that's about where we're at. Looking great, ETH. Love that. Love that for us. All right. We are going to wrap this stream up today. As usual, Mondays are just a quick 30 minutes of some prediction markets and crystal ball moments. And then Wednesdays, we get together and cook. So we are going to have a fun live stream. I'm basically just going to set the camera up and turn it on. And I'm going to do my prep kitchen cook, which I usually do every Thanksgiving the day before. get as much done as I can the day before so that the day of I can, work out so that I don't feel like you fat bastard by the end of the day, and we can just kind of throw things in the oven, bake them fully, heat them up, whatever, and be done with it. So, looking forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday. I think we may have some special guests and some fun people joining in. So tune in for that, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on X, YouTube, Pump Fun, and all of the BSCN socials. I'm Jackie Denton. Thank you for joining Let Her Cook, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.